Public crisis. The search for answers tonight after the city of Memphis passes a grim milestone, 300 homicides in 2020. Good evening. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. I'm Merle Purvis.
And I'm Greg Coy, filling in for Dow Green tonight.
So we want to put some context behind the substantial increase in the number of homicides this year. The city of Memphis sits at 302 homicides so far this year. We passed the 300 mark over the weekend. That is nearly a 60% increase from last year's number of 191. It's also 74 more than the record-breaking year 2016, when 228 people were homicide victims.
Here's Fox. And as our Janae Lewis reports, it's a pattern neighbors and police are painfully aware of.
In the light of a new day, a small trail of crime scene tape leaving a visible reminder violence has hit yet another community.
When I came in from work last night, I saw police cars all around, so I was wondering what happening.
She would later learn her usually quiet neighborhood had become the latest location of a child shooting.
It really touched me to know that it's a child and she haven't lived any life yet. It's sad.
Memphis police say that young girl was shot following an argument that likely started with another incident.
What kind of heart that person would have to do something like that to a child? Because that's a child who don't understand, who don't have a care of this world or what is going on.
The girl is in the hospital fighting for her life right now, but sadly, children aren't strangers to the city's violence. Memphis police say at least 36 children have died violently this year. The president of the Memphis Police
We just got breaking news into our newsroom. We now know the man wanted in the murder of an 8-year-old little girl in Memphis. Memphis police say that Cedric Conley is a suspect in this case. He's wanted on several charges, including first-degree murder. 8-year-old Jordan Washington was killed inside her apartment at the Highland Chateau Apartments in Raleigh Sunday. Now, police say Conley was the one who fired the shots, shooting and killing the girl while actually firing at people unrelated to Washington. Jordan Washington became the 31st child to die from violence in Memphis this year.
Tragedy tonight. Memphis police are investigating the death of a toddler in Hickory Hill. WMC Action News 5's Briseda Hogan joins us live from the scene. Briseda, any new details?
Kim, police have not shared much on this incident. Now, the child's death has been ruled as a homicide, only adding to the city's record number of homicides in 2020.
Memphis police were called to the Germantown Falls apartments in the 400 block of Ridge Drive in Hickory Hill just after 11 a.m. Tuesday. A 2-year-old boy was dead. Investigators say the child suffered multiple internal injuries. A neighbor who did not want to be identified broke into tears after learning what happened.
The baby, but the fact that it's already continuing to happen over here makes it worse. You know, you took a child's life. It's our future.
This is awful here. Memphis police just providing this update to us, but they have not released the age of the child who was killed. And there are a lot of questions here. As you see, a very active scene last night over on Trillion Drive, that's in Memphis. Police say 2 people were shot at that location, including a juvenile. That child transported to a children's hospital in critical condition, and police do say the child later died. No age released again. No other information has been provided about this ongoing investigation. But again, we do know 2 people shot, including that child who did die as a result. No motive has been discussed. So again, a lot left to figure out here. Be sure to stay with News 2 and WKRN.com as we do get more information.
Memphis police say that a woman was found dead in the middle of Lamar Avenue and she was shot. The woman's identity has not been released. Police say that she was found early this morning, lying in the middle of the street without any clothes on, covered in blood. Witnesses told police the woman was walking in the street before she collapsed. Call Crime Stoppers.
A pregnant woman was shot and killed in the parking lot of a drugstore. The victim, only 32 years old.
She was so excited about being a mother, and this opportunity was taken away from her and my entire family.
Tonight, as you can imagine, her family is begging for answers. Fox 13's Kirsten Garris is live. Kirsten, the family understandably devastated by this loss.
Yeah, Gerald, and police say Kara McNeil was found inside her car outside of this Walgreens on Walnut Grove last Thursday night. Her family tells me she was 6 months pregnant and she loved kids, so she was so excited to become a mom.
When we received the news that she was pregnant, it was like, yay! Everybody was so excited. But when we received the news of her death, it was crushing.
Because the killer is still on the loose. Memphis police say McNeil was shot and killed at this Walgreens. They say the suspect knew her. Her family says McNeil went to the Walgreens to meet her baby's father last Thursday. They tell me the two were estranged, and McNeil was planning to raise the baby herself.
There had not been communication up until the last 2 weeks of her life, and he wanted to meet to discuss co-parenting.
Police are still investigating, and the family is begging the community to say something if they know anything.
This has happened to our loved one. It can definitely happen again, and we want to stop him now.
Tonight, we're learning a shooting last night on American Way has a connection to the group 3-6 Mafia. Juicy J tweeted his condolences to fellow group member Crunchy Black. We're told Black's daughter was one of 2 victims found dead outside the Fairview Inn and Suites yesterday afternoon. The family says her name was Ashley Richardson. Crunchy Black left 3-6 Mafia back in 2006. Anyone with information on these killings is urged to call 528-CASH.
As homicides continue to grow in the Bluff City, Memphis police say a woman was shot several times and died outside the home right behind me here in South Memphis. Police say they believe this is a domestic violence incident, so the victim and the suspect knew each other. So I did talk to a neighbor who said that there were several children often playing outside this home, and they're now praying for those children who seemingly do not have a mother now. So coming up at 5 o'clock, I talked to a family friend. Listen to what he has to say about the recent concerns the family voiced to him about the victim and the ex-boyfriend in this case.
Memphis police are investigating a fatal shooting from this morning. This was the scene on South Bellevue Boulevard near Jesse Turner Park shortly after noon today. Investigators say an angry man fired shots into the window of the Dixie Queen there and hit another man. The victim was taken to Regional 1 in critical condition but did not survive. The suspect is reportedly in a white sedan. Anyone with information should call.
Employees showing up for work at the Jack Purtles on South Bellevue arrived to find crime scene tape instead this morning.
The ambulance was already here when I got here this morning. The body was laying on the back of the truck like it's still laying there now.
Memphis police say they found a man shot multiple times. He died in the parking lot.
Somebody just killed the man. Shot him on the back of the truck.
Employees tell me they recognize him as a delivery driver.
He delivers him once, twice a month.
Have you talked to him before?
Yeah, I always talk to him because I beat him when he pull up.
I spoke to another delivery truck driver who lives nearby. He didn't want to show his face, but says this highlights dangers that comes with this job.
It ain't got to be money. It could be just food. I mean, chicken wings, chicken legs. I mean, folks will rob you for anything just to make a dime.
He says it's especially hurtful to see this happen to one of their own.
When I see something like that, it's somebody's life, you know what I mean? And it's not a color thing, anybody. You know, this man was out here trying to make a hard-earned living, and somebody just done came and took his life for nothing.
Others say they're sick and tired of all the violence now inching closer and closer to their homes and businesses. In May, we reported a Dixie Queen employee being shot and killed on the job. That happened just one street over from this Jack Pirtle's.
I've been tired of seeing it all my life. I've been around this shit all my life.
Now, police haven't made any arrests or even released any suspect information at this time. I did see security cameras outside of the restaurant as well as the businesses right next door. If you have any information that can help police, call Crime Stoppers.
In a sit-down interview with Memphis Police Director Mike Rawlings today, he detailed some of the things he'd like to accomplish in his remaining 17 months with the department. Rawlings was named police director in 2016. His retirement now set in stone because he's part of the city's deferred retirement program known as DROP. The program allows city employees to plan their retirement 3 years in advance. Rawlings' retirement date is now April 2021.
I asked the mayor to allow me to stay to that, and I hope he allows me to do that.
Rawlings said in his remaining time with the MPD, he has a list of things he wants to accomplish, including a take-home car program, changing the rank structure, and to restructure the residency program.
It made me feel proud for him because he worked hard and he deserved it.
We are huge supporters of Shelby County Schools. This is like the Oscars or the Grammys for us. This is big.
We got here because of my mom's hard work.
I think Tony's story is a really powerful story. His story is the story of so many young people in our city. I love the story that he tells about his mother being front and center, because she was front and center, and we would not know Tony Armstrong in the way that we know him had it not been for Billy Armstrong.
You have some really, really dark days, and you really have to dig down deep to stay focused. You really have to dig down deep to continually to remind yourself of why you're doing it.
People see this like stern persona. He can be a cut-up. We have to actually keep him in line in this house.
Find something that at the end of the day, that when it's over for you, you can look back at your body of work and say, I'm really proud of the things that I've done, and I really feel like that I've left my mark, not only on this city, but on the world as well. Thank you for not making this one of those we punked you type jokes, but I can't tell you how humbling this is for me, and I just want to tell you how much I appreciate this from the bottom of my heart.
Congratulations, Daddy. I love you.
Lost control and crashed at Kansas and Silveridge Wednesday night while chasing and shooting at the driver of a red Infiniti. Investigators say the driver of that Infiniti, 30-year-old Carrie Tolbert, was shot 3 times in the back and also crashed nearby.
I'm hoping that he come out of it because he's a good person.
Otis Carr was asleep and didn't see this car crash at the end of his street, but knows the victim.
He didn't deserve whatever he got. He didn't deserve it.
Police say Kevion Mabry opened fire on the red Infiniti in retaliation for the shooting death of a fellow gang member. Turns out it was the wrong car. Investigators say Tolbert was not involved in any gang activity and may be permanently paralyzed.
I feel sorry for this boy.
Neighbors say Tolbert hit this utility pole before crashing his red Infiniti up the street, and a Skycop cam on Silveridge may have captured it all. Police say Mabry was also captured on camera at Southland Mall last summer, assaulting and carjacking a man cleaning the parking lot. The 19-year-old has been charged with attempted murder in that case and was out of jail on $150,000 bond at the time of this shooting. In South Memphis, Melissa Moon, WREG, News Channel 3.
We're beginning with breaking news as tonight police are looking for a killer, this time in Soulsville. This is part of another day full of gun violence here in Memphis. Thank you for joining us. I'm Janae Lewis. We've learned police responded to at least 6 shootings with 7 victims, and we're talking just since midnight. We sent our WRAG's Quamitra Wilburn out there at the latest shooting on Willie Mitchell Boulevard. Quamitra, this one has ended in the loss of another life in the city. What have you learned? It looks like we're having some issues with Quamitra, but she is out there now, and she told us that she's been out there for about an hour, and that scene continues to grow with people apparently appearing to be family members of the victim. Here's what we've learned from police. They tell us that a man was shot to death. A shooter is now on the run. Police say that shooting happened at a home on Willie Mitchell Boulevard and Simpson Avenue. You're getting a look at some of the crime scene video that our crews on scene captured. Officers are out there right now. They're speaking to people who live in the area as well as neighbors, trying to sort this whole thing together. Now, we don't know at this point if the shooting happened inside or outside of the home, but Quamitra was out there, and she did say she noticed a bullet hole in the front of the house. So lots still happening and developing there. They have our crews backed up pretty far with crime scene tape right now. There's no suspect information, so if you know anything that can help police, you're encouraged as always to call Crime Stoppers at 528-CASH. We'll definitely keep you updated on the latest in this incident in Soulsville. At least one person is dead there, and that is just one of 3 shootings to happen. We're talking just tonight in Memphis. Police say just before 6 o'clock, a man was shot on Brockwood Avenue. That's off Tulane Road in Whitehaven. The victim was taken to the hospital in critical condition. Police don't have any information about that shooter in that particular incident. Police were also called to a shooting on National Street in Highland Heights. They didn't find a victim there, but investigators tell us they think it could be related to a shooting on Timber Lane. Police found that victim around 5:30 and say he's expected to be okay. Once again, no suspect suspect information available in that particular incident. And those shootings that we told you about in this evening, they just continued on what's already been a busy day for Memphis police, who started their morning responding to 3 other shootings all across the city. Here's a rundown. Someone shot a man and woman just before 2 this morning on Coleman Road. The man died and the woman is expected to be okay. Investigators say the suspects were in a black Mustang. Another shooting has left a man fighting for his life. This one happened around midnight on Willstream Drive. Police say the 2 suspects stole the victim's white Chevy 2020 Camaro after shooting him. He's in the hospital in critical condition. And a 3rd person was shot around 10 o'clock at the Hillview Apartments in South Memphis. That victim is expected to be okay. Police don't have any information about that shooter, so as you can hear, they're going to need a lot of community input to figure out what's going on with these incidents. Call Crime Stoppers. You can do that anonymously at 901-528-CASH if you have...
You're celebrating. Boom! Boom!
But when this man looked outside, he saw these police lights, other emergency crews, and officers going in and out of the vacant house next door.
Shining the flashlight and cameras all in the house.
He says much later he saw vans take away the bodies. Police say 2 people were shot and killed on Firestone, and a 3rd rushed to the hospital.
Oh my God! Not right now, man.
A relative of one of the victims was on the street today, but too upset to talk to us. Neighbors say they have been concerned about criminal activity around the vacant house. In fact, this man says earlier this month, someone burglarized his home.
They broke my back window out, and they ransacked my back room, and they took a watch.
He believes at least one of the 2 males killed lives on the street and says after this, he no longer feels safe in his neighborhood of some 40 years.
I'm ready to get out my neighborhood and move on.
Police haven't said what they think led up to this shooting or who they might be looking for. In North Memphis, Melissa Moon, WREG, News Channel 3.
Written on this walls here. This is music history.